question for the IRS. It's their job to enforce the laws. So I wouldn't.
But that's a pretty serious allegation you made there, and I'm just asking you who they are.
There are cases pending against a number of companies until those cases conclude. It's not.
Who do you think they are? You're an expert in this area. I'm just asking you. You talked a lot, and I've read some of your writings about American corporations cheating on their taxes. I'm just asking you who they are.
I wouldn't use the word cheating. I think that they are taking advantage of the gray zone.
You used it in your testimony.
I'm sorry?
You used it in your testimony. I'm not trying to trick you. I just want to know you have been very vociferous in saying that American companies are cheating. Okay, that's America. You're entitled to your opinion.
What you just watched is a perfect example of why Senator John Kennedy stands out in congressional hearings. This wasn't grandstanding. This wasn't theatrics. This was accountability. An expert witness came before the Senate making very serious claims that major American corporations are cheating on their taxes, and when Senator Kennedy asked the most basic question any reasonable person would ask, who? Suddenly the confidence disappeared. And that's what today's video is really about. It's not about defending corporations blindly. It's about something far more important. You don't get to accuse people of wrongdoing and then refuse to name names. Senator Kennedy cut straight through the fog, and frankly, he exposed how weak this testimony really was. If you appreciate real questioning, real pushback, and lawmakers who don't let vague accusations slide, you're in the right place. This is Congress Lens. I'm Audrey. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss moments like this. Because accountability shouldn't be optional. Now let's get into it.
We have Senator Kennedy, then Chairman Wyden, and then Senator Braun.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Millen, is your expertise in the area, Mr. Bunn made this distinction, is your expertise in the area of tax avoidance or tax evasion or both?
I would say both. I think the lines, there are situations where the lines might get blurry, especially on the corporate side. But in my...
it's both?
It's both. In short, it's both.
Do you believe that there are major American corporations that are cheating on their taxes?
I think yes, there are cases where the transfer pricing regulations are not being followed, and Mr. Curtis's testimony speaks to that.
Who are they? Who are the five? Name the five American corporations that are the biggest tax cheats.
Well, this is a question for the IRS. It's their job to enforce the laws. So I wouldn't.
But that's a pretty serious allegation you made there, and I'm just asking you who they are.
There are cases pending against a number of companies until those cases conclude. It's not.
Who do you think they are? You're an expert in this area. I'm just asking you. You talked a lot, and I've read some of your writings about American corporations cheating on their taxes. I'm just asking you who they are.
I wouldn't use the word cheating. I think that they are taking advantage of the gray zone.
You used it in your testimony.
I'm sorry?
You used it in your testimony. I'm not trying to trick you. I just want to know you have been very vociferous in saying that American companies are cheating. Okay, that's America. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're an expert, and just tell me who they are.
I stand by that. I think that there is evidence to suggest that some of these companies and the IRS has pursued cases against a number of the companies that Mr. Curtis has analyzed, including Apple and Microsoft and Facebook and Coca-Cola.
Is Apple a tax cheat?
I wouldn't say tax cheat. I think that's putting it too strongly, and I didn't use that word.
Then who are they?
I wouldn't say tax cheats, but I think they are crossing the legal lines that have been set by Congress and by the IRS in the relevant regulations. And because the IRS is outgunned, they're not able to enforce the law against them.
Let me start over. Do you believe that there are major American corporations cheating on their taxes?
I believe they are coming very close to crossing the line, and it's difficult for IRS that is outgunned to enforce the line.
Are they crossing the line or not?
Well, it's up to the IRS to enforce the line if they don't have the resources.
I'm asking you your opinion. You're an expert.
I think there's a good case to be made that, yes, they are crossing the line.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Who are they?
That's up to the courts and the IRS to determine.
You made this allegation, but you don't want to say who they are? If you know who they are, you just don't want to tell us?
I think that's been explained by Mr. Curtis in his analysis.
I'm asking you to explain. You talk about tax cheats. I'm just asking you who they are, and you don't want to tell us?
It's again, I think it's for the IRS to enforce the line, and we need to make sure that the IRS is properly.
Well, do you have a list of these tax sheets?
No.
Okay. Have you been to the IRS and said, here are these companies and they're cheating on their taxes and I can show you how they're doing it?
No, I'm not. That's not I've never practiced in that area of law. I'm not a tax whistleblower lawyer.
All you've done is run around saying American companies are cheating on their taxes. I can't tell you who they are, and I haven't been to the IRS to show my data to the IRS, but I want you to believe me that they're cheating on their taxes. Is that your testimony today?
No, Senator, no.
It sure sounds like it.
I think that the case against some of these companies has been well documented in the
Which companies? Let me ask you one,
public.
because I'm going to run out of time. Tell me, in the last 23 seconds, here's your chance. You believe there are major American corporations cheating on their taxes. You just testified to that. I believe you told me yes. Tell me who they are.
I think there are the companies that Mr. Curtis discussed in his testimony.
Tell me who they are.
It includes some of the big tech companies. It includes some of the pharma companies that are.
Who are the 5 worst?
I don't have a ranking. I have not compiled.
You don't want to say.
I haven't looked into that.
You understand it makes it hard to believe your allegations if you won't tell us who they are. Talk's cheap. You ever heard that expression? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Wyden.
Thank you very much.
You've actually done some investigation in this space.
With your cooperation.
After watching the full exchange, Senator John Kennedy's approach becomes even more justified. From the very beginning, the witness confidently states that major American corporations are cheating on their taxes. That's not a small claim. That's not academic theory. That's an allegation that can damage reputations, markets, and public trust. So Senator Kennedy does what any responsible lawmaker should do. He asks for specifics, not hypotheticals, not vibes, not some companies. And what happens next is telling. Every time Senator Kennedy presses for clarity, the witness retreats. First it's tax avoidance and tax evasion blur together. Then it's crossing the line. Then it's close to crossing the line. Then suddenly that's for the IRS and the courts to decide. That's not expert testimony, that's hedging. What makes Senator Kennedy effective here is that he refuses to let language games slide. He notices the witness used the word cheating in testimony, and when challenged, the witness tries to walk it back. Senator Kennedy doesn't allow that rewrite. He holds the witness to her own words. And that matters. Because if you're going to publicly accuse American companies of criminal behavior, you should be prepared to defend that claim with facts, evidence, and names, not vague references to big tech or pharma without specifics. The moment that really seals it is when the witness admits. She is not a tax lawyer. She has not submitted evidence to the IRS. She does not have a list. She cannot rank offenders. She cannot name 5 companies. She cannot even confidently say who is definitively breaking the law. Yet she wants Congress and the American public to accept her conclusion. Senator Kennedy calls that out plainly. And he's right. This isn't about protecting corporations. This is about standards. If accusations don't require evidence, then hearings become political theater instead of fact-finding missions. When Senator Kennedy says, "Talk is cheap," that's not an insult, it's a warning. Because Congress has real power, and reckless claims made under oath can shape policy, enforcement, and public perception. Senator Kennedy's questioning reminds everyone watching that expert status does not exempt anyone from scrutiny. If anything, it demands more of it. That's why this exchange resonates. Senator Kennedy didn't raise his voice. He didn't posture. He simply asked the same question again and again until the lack of substance became undeniable. And that's how accountability is supposed to work. If you want more moments like this, where claims meet cross-examination and power meets pushback, you're exactly where you need to be. This is Congress Lens. I'm Audrey, and I'll see you in the next one.